My dear friends, as we gather here today, I want to share with you a truth that has sustained countless souls throughout the ages. The truth that God's timing is perfect. In the midst of our lives, when we face uncertainty and delays, it can be all too easy to question why our dreams seem to be on hold or why our prayers appear to be unanswered. Yet it is in these very moments that the beauty of divine timing reveals itself. When we pause to reflect, we begin to understand that every season of our lives is part of a master plan, intricately woven by a loving Creator who knows us better than we know ourselves. Consider the seed that is planted in the ground. To the world it appears small, insignificant, and lost in darkness. But beneath the surface, a transformation is taking place. A process that requires time, patience, and the right conditions to flourish. That seed will one day break through the soil, sprout, and blossom into a magnificent flower, or grow into a towering tree. In the same way, the challenges and delays we experience are not signs of abandonment. They are the nurturing soil from which our future will grow. Every trial we endure, every moment of waiting, is a period of preparation. God is quietly working in our lives, building strength and character, so that when the moment of fulfillment arrives, we will be ready to receive the abundance of blessings He has in store. There are times when our plans seem to diverge from the path God has set for us. In these moments, we may feel as though our hopes are dashed, or that we are caught in an endless pause. But if we take heart and trust in His perfect plan, we will see that what feels like a delay is in reality a divine pause, a moment meant to refine our faith and draw us closer to Him. It is in these silent intervals that we learn to surrender our own timelines and embrace the wisdom of our Heavenly Father. Rather than succumbing to frustration or despair, we are invited to trust that every moment, no matter how long it may seem, is purposeful. God's timing is not arbitrary or random. It is a deliberate unfolding of grace that leads us to experiences far greater than we could have ever imagined. I have witnessed the transformative power of this truth in my own life and in the lives of many believers. There have been instances when the weight of waiting felt overwhelming and the uncertainty of the future seemed unbearable. Yet, in those very moments, the peace that surpasses all understanding has descended upon us, reassuring us that nothing happens by accident. Each step, each setback, and each pause is a part of a divine orchestration designed to prepare our hearts and minds for the blessings that lie ahead. This perfect timing teaches us to be patient and to remain steadfast in our faith, knowing that God is always at work, even when we cannot see it. When we embrace the truth of God's timing, we learn to find joy in the journey rather than fixating solely on the destination. We begin to see that every experience, every hardship, and every triumph is a stepping stone that leads us closer to our ultimate purpose. In this way, our lives become a beautiful tapestry of grace and growth, woven together by moments that may seem inconsequential on their own, but when viewed as a whole, reveal the extraordinary handiwork of a compassionate Creator. Trusting in His timing requires us to let go of our desperate need for control and to accept that sometimes the most profound blessings are those that are carefully delayed until our hearts and minds are fully prepared to receive them. In the quiet moments of waiting, we find an opportunity to deepen our relationship with God. It is during these times that we are invited to seek His presence, to immerse ourselves in prayer, and to allow His Word to guide us. When we do so, we discover a reservoir of strength and wisdom that carries us through the darkest valleys and leads us into the light of His promises. The journey may be long and filled with uncertainties, but as we trust in His perfect timing, we learn that every delay has its divine purpose. So let us choose today to surrender our hurried expectations and embrace the beautiful mystery of God's plan. Let us be patient and steadfast, confident that every moment of waiting is a part of the grand design for our lives. Trust in the fact that His timing is always perfect, and that the Creator who holds our future in His hands is also the one who nourishes our souls with hope, love, and purpose. May His perfect timing guide us all. May His timing be your strength. There are moments in life when we feel like we're standing at the edge of a cliff, wondering why nothing seems to be moving forward despite our deepest efforts. I want you to consider that these delays are not denials. Often, we rush through our days with the belief that if we're not constantly receiving a breakthrough, then perhaps God isn't listening. But if we take a moment to pause and look closer, we begin to understand that every period of waiting is intentionally placed in our lives, not to shut us out, but to prepare us for something more significant than we can imagine. It's like the quiet before a storm, where the winds are building and nature is setting the stage for renewal. When we are in the midst of these delays, our hearts may ache with the weight of unmet expectations and the frustration of unfulfilled dreams. I have seen many of us look at our challenges and feel as though our prayers have been ignored or that our efforts have been in vain. Yet it is exactly during these times that we are being molded. Life, in its mysterious and intricate design, often uses these delays as a way to cultivate resilience, to build strength, and to deepen our trust in the divine process. It is in these quiet, sometimes uncomfortable moments that our character is refined and our vision becomes clearer, even if we can't see it just yet. I want you to consider the idea that every delay you experience is an opportunity. It is an invitation to take a step back from the hustle and noise of life, to reflect on your journey, and to allow yourself to grow in ways you might not have expected. There is a profound beauty in the stillness of waiting, a space where you can recalibrate your soul, engage with your inner self, and discover hidden reserves of hope and strength. It is during these moments that you learn to embrace uncertainty, not as a void, but as fertile ground from which your dreams will eventually take root and flourish. Think about the times when you have been delayed in your plans. A job opportunity that didn't come through, a relationship that ended, a dream that seemed to slip away. Now look back and consider how those delays may have actually been a redirection towards something better. Sometimes what we perceive as a setback is really a setup for a major comeback. It may be hard to see in the moment, but these pauses in our journey are filled with lessons that can only be learned in the quiet of waiting. They teach us to lean into our vulnerability, to trust that the process is unfolding exactly as it should, and to recognize that every no is guiding us toward the eventual yes that will change our lives in ways we never thought possible. When we shift our perspective to see delays as divine pauses rather than denials, we open ourselves up to a richer, deeper experience of life. It is not about settling for less or resigning ourselves to fate. Rather, it is about acknowledging that our path is being carefully crafted by a loving and wise Creator who understands what we need even before we do. In these moments, our journey becomes not a series of random events, but a tapestry of intentional design, where every delay has its purpose and every waiting period is a necessary part of our growth. This perspective invites us to cultivate patience and trust, and to view each delay not as a failure, but as a stepping stone toward a destiny that is far greater than our own limited vision. As you navigate through these seasons of waiting, remember that you are not alone. Every heart has experienced the ache of longing, and every spirit has felt the sting of delay. Yet it is also in these shared experiences that we find common ground and strength in community. When we come together to support one another through our struggles, we create a space where hope can flourish even in the midst of uncertainty. The collective wisdom of those who have traveled similar paths reassures us that the pause we endure now is paving the way for a future filled with purpose and promise. So let this truth resonate within you. Delays are not denials. They are divine intermissions, moments where you are being prepared, refined, and redirected toward the life that is waiting for you, a life that is abundant in joy, growth, and fulfillment. Embrace these pauses with an open heart, trusting that every delay is a deliberate part of your story, a narrative crafted with love and precision. Let your faith be anchored in the assurance that your journey is unfolding exactly as it should, even if the destination seems shrouded in mystery today. May you trust that delays are never denials. There are moments when life feels overwhelming and every setback leaves you wondering if the next step will ever come. In these times, it's all too easy to let frustration seep in, clouding our hearts and dimming our hope. Yet I invite you to consider a different approach, one where faith becomes the anchor that steadies your spirit even amid uncertainty. When we allow frustration to take hold, we risk shutting ourselves off from the subtle, persistent work of grace happening all around us. Instead, choosing faith invites us to trust that our journey is being guided by something far greater than our immediate circumstances. A truth that can transform even our darkest moments into opportunities for growth. Imagine for a moment the feeling of sitting by a river that, no matter how turbulent the current, flows steadily toward the ocean. That river, much like our lives, may encounter rocks and rough patches along its course, yet it continues its journey with unwavering determination. In a similar way, our faith carries us forward. It doesn't promise that the path will always be smooth, or that every desire will be instantly fulfilled. Instead, it offers a steady reassurance that regardless of the setbacks, there is a divine orchestration at work, a plan that unfolds in its own time and in its own way. I know from experience that frustration can feel like an insurmountable barrier. There have been times when the weight of unmet expectations felt unbearable, and every unanswered prayer was a reminder of our limitations. But those very moments became a call to lean into faith, to trust that there is a purpose behind the waiting and that our struggles are not in vain. It's in these vulnerable spaces, when the heart is at its most raw, that faith plants its seed. This seed grows slowly, nurtured by moments of quiet reflection and the gentle, persistent whisper of hope. There is a power in choosing to trust instead of succumbing to frustration. When we let faith lead, we begin to see that every trial, every moment of uncertainty is part of a larger narrative, a narrative that is rich with lessons about resilience, patience, and unconditional love. Instead of feeling defeated by the setbacks, we start to see them as essential parts of our personal journey, moments that refine our character and prepare us for something greater than we can imagine. In this way, our struggles are transformed from roadblocks into stepping stones that build a foundation for a future filled with promise. It's important to recognize that this choice is not always easy. It requires us to surrender our need for immediate answers and to accept that there is a process unfolding, a process that may challenge us in ways we never anticipated. Yet every time we choose faith over frustration, we affirm our commitment to a higher purpose. We remind ourselves that our lives are not defined by the obstacles we encounter, but by the strength we gain from overcoming them. In this journey, every setback is an invitation to rediscover our inner strength, to find solace in the quiet moments of prayer, and to trust that the answers we seek are already on their way. I invite you to reflect on the times when you felt overwhelmed by frustration and consider the possibility that these were not moments of defeat, but rather opportunities to deepen your trust. In those moments when it seemed as though nothing was going right, there was a quiet power at work, a force that was preparing you for something more profound. By choosing to lean into your faith, you allowed yourself to be transformed. You began to see that the obstacles you faced were not punishments or failures, but rather a part of a divine tapestry that is continually being woven into the fabric of your life. In embracing faith, we also learn to extend grace to ourselves. We come to understand that it's okay to feel frustrated sometimes, and that our feelings do not diminish the strength of our spirit. Instead, they highlight our humanity and our need for a deeper connection with the source of all hope. Every tear shed, every moment of doubt becomes a testament to the enduring nature of your faith. Proof that even in the midst of life's storms, you are holding on to the promise that better days are ahead. Let your heart be a sanctuary where faith overcomes frustration, where every challenge is met with a resolute trust in the unfolding plan of life. Allow yourself to be moved by the quiet assurance that every experience, no matter how trying, is a part of a grand design intended to lead you to a place of abundance and joy. May you embrace faith over frustration. There are times in our lives when waiting seems endless, and every passing moment feels like a test of our faith and resilience. In these waiting seasons, there is a hidden beauty that we often overlook, a gentle unfolding that teaches us lessons we might not learn in the busyness of immediate success. I've come to realize that the quiet spaces of waiting are not barren, rather they are fertile ground where our character is cultivated and our spirits are prepared for the blessings to come. It is in these moments, when the world seems to hold its breath, that we learn the art of surrender and the power of patience. When we find ourselves in the midst of a waiting season, it can feel as though time itself has paused. We may wonder why progress seems delayed or why our deepest desires appear to be on hold. Yet, if we look closely, we see that these periods are rich with lessons. They invite us to slow down and listen to the whispers of our heart, to the gentle guidance of the Spirit, and to the subtle signs that remind us we are exactly where we need to be. In the stillness, we discover that waiting is not a void or a punishment, but a process of transformation. Every moment of silence carries with it an opportunity to reflect, to grow, and to deepen our understanding of who we are and what we are capable of becoming. I remember times when the weight of waiting felt almost unbearable. I questioned whether I was being forgotten, if perhaps I had failed in some unseen measure of worth. But over time, I came to see that these very moments were shaping me in ways that success and immediate gratification never could. They taught me to appreciate the small, almost imperceptible shifts in my heart and mind, those quiet changes that set the stage for lasting change. In the waiting season, every setback and every pause is a lesson in resilience, a call to lean into our vulnerability and to trust that every delay is a deliberate part of our growth. In those moments when the future seems uncertain, it is natural to become restless. Yet it is in this restlessness that we are invited to let go of our need for control and to embrace the mystery of life unfolding at its own pace. The waiting season gently nudges us to focus less on the outcome and more on the journey itself. It asks us to trust that our struggles are not wasted, that each trial is a stepping stone on a path that is leading us to a place of deeper fulfillment and understanding. When we begin to see our waiting as a form of preparation, a season during which we are being refined for something greater, we start to feel a sense of peace that transcends the chaos of our immediate circumstances. The lessons in waiting extend far beyond patience. They are about learning to find meaning in the pauses, to see every moment as an opportunity to connect more deeply with our inner selves and with the divine presence that guides us. In this quiet space, we are encouraged to develop a heightened awareness of the beauty around us. We learn that even the smallest moments, a kind word, a shared smile, or a moment of genuine connection can carry profound significance. These experiences remind us that growth often happens in the subtle spaces of our lives, where the everyday and the extraordinary intertwine. In embracing the lessons of the waiting season, we are also reminded that our journey is not meant to be rushed. The pauses in our lives are not signs of stagnation. They are the universe's way of giving us time to catch our breath, to realign our priorities, and to prepare our hearts for the next chapter. This period of waiting can be a time of introspection and self-discovery, where we learn to appreciate our own strength and to recognize the wisdom that comes from simply being present. It is during these times that we become more attuned to the subtle guidance of our inner voice, a voice that often grows louder when we are not distracted by the clamor of daily demands. When we allow ourselves to be fully present in the waiting season, we come to understand that every moment, no matter how challenging, has its purpose. Our struggles and delays are not arbitrary. They are meticulously woven into the tapestry of our lives to prepare us for the blessings that lie ahead. The beauty of waiting is that it gives us the space to reflect on our journey, to celebrate our progress, and to gain the strength needed to continue moving forward with courage and hope. May you learn from the waiting season. There is a quiet truth that gently whispers to us in the midst of our daily struggles, a truth that our plans, as well-meaning and carefully chartered as they may be, are but a small fragment of a much larger, more intricate tapestry. When we hold tightly to our own visions, we often miss the subtle yet profound reality that the path laid out for us is far greater than what our limited eyes can see. In every twist and turn of our journey, there is a divine orchestration at work, one that is patiently unfolding with perfect precision and care. It is in these moments of surrender that we begin to understand that God's plan for our lives is always more expansive, more compassionate, and infinitely more purposeful than the plans we devise on our own. Imagine a time when you had a clear roadmap in your heart, a vision of where you thought you were headed. You meticulously set your goals and worked tirelessly toward them, convinced that every step was solely your own achievement. And yet, when unexpected obstacles emerged, when things did not go as you had envisioned, you felt lost, disoriented, and perhaps even betrayed by the very life you had planned. I invite you to consider that these detours, these unforeseen challenges, were not signs of failure or misfortune. Instead, they were gentle nudges from a loving Creator, urging you to let go of your own constraints and to embrace a plan that is infinitely wiser than your own. There is a kind of freedom in acknowledging that our understanding is limited. We often cling to our strategies and solutions as if they were the only way to navigate life's complexities. Yet when we release the need to control every detail, we open ourselves to the beautiful possibility that every setback, every unexpected pause is a deliberate part of a grander design. It is a design that transforms our pain into purpose, our frustration into fortitude, and our failures into stepping stones towards something far greater than we ever imagined. In that surrender lies a peace that surpasses our immediate understanding, a peace that tells us our journey is safe, even when the road is uncertain. I have witnessed time and again how the moments when we relinquish our grip on control become the very moments when our true strength emerges. It is during these times that we discover the hidden reserves of resilience within us, as we learn to trust in a process that is both mysterious and magnificent. When we choose to step back and allow ourselves to be led by a higher power, we not only lighten the weight of our own expectations, but also invite a richer, deeper fulfillment into our lives. Our individual plans, no matter how carefully constructed, pale in comparison to a design that has been lovingly prepared over eternity. Think about the countless times when a door you thought would lead to success simply closed, only for you to find another opening that brought new opportunities and growth. These moments, which at first may seem like disappointments, are in fact profound reminders that the plan unfolding for you is not static. It is dynamic, adapting to the contours of your life in ways that only become clear with time. Each challenge you face, each twist in the road, is a stitch in the fabric of a destiny that is far more elaborate and beautiful than you could ever conceive on your own. It is natural to feel a sense of loss when our personal vision for the future appears to crumble. But in that very collapse, there is the potential for rebirth. In letting go of our rigid plans, we allow ourselves to be molded by something far greater than our individual desires, a molding that refines our character and deepens our capacity for love and empathy. It is in this process that we come to see that every experience, whether marked by joy or sorrow, contributes to the masterpiece of our lives. Each setback is a gentle invitation to trust. Each setback is a gentle invitation to trust. Each detour, a chance to lean into the mystery of what is to come. When we finally accept that God's plan is greater than our own, we embrace a life of profound possibility and enduring hope. We come to understand that our role is not to command every detail of our journey, but rather to walk it with courage, humility, and a steadfast faith that the path ahead is lit by divine wisdom. This acceptance transforms our hearts and frees us from the burden of trying to control what is beyond our reach. It teaches us that our true strength lies not in our ability to foresee every outcome, but in our willingness to trust that every moment is part of a larger, beautifully unfolding story. May you surrender to the truth that God's plan is always greater than your own.